One Piece chapter 1010, it was titled Conquerors Haki, let's talk about it. And the cover page was putting in eye drops. Who doesn't like seeing a beautiful three-eyed person putting in eye drops? I thought it was a good cover page. But I have actually some mixed reviews about this chapter. Granted, like I said, I'm gonna wait for the official stuff to drop. Well, the official translations, and I also got to wait for next week because I have some questions. The chapter starts off with Big Mom falling, and she's like, "All right, Zeus, what the fluff are you doing?" And obviously, Zeus is in a metal box that contains electricity where he can't phase out of it. And we see Kaido, we see Zoro, we see Law. This is primarily a Kaido, Zoro, and Luffy chapter. We have Zoro. He's still cutting Prometheus so that obviously he doesn't go and pick up Big Mom. And Kaido, he's like, "Man, Lin, what are you doing?" He's like, "Pirate Hunter, you better let go of Prometheus." And I find it kind of odd. Well, not odd. Maybe it makes sense. I don't know. But I think it makes sense for Kaido to know Luffy's name, and especially Luffy and Law, because they defeated Doflamingo, captured Caesar, the Smiles. They've been a nuisance with Kaido ever since Punk Hazard. And it makes sense that he knows Kid, and probably Killer too, because they fought with Kaido when Apu betrayed them, and Hawkins joined his side as well. But I do find it odd that Kaido knows Zoro's name. I'm not trying to say, Zoro, a 320 million berry bounty. Yeah, that's pretty high, pretty solid. We all can agree that Zoro's bounty does not equal what he's actually worth. I think Zoro's right now is worth probably about 800, 900 million. And I think after Wano, he'll probably jump up to about 1.6 billion. But I just find it funny how he just knew Zoro's name like that. I don't know. I guess that just proves that Zoro's that ninja. But Law, he then intercepts Kaido a little bit with an injection shot. He slows him down. And Zoro's like, "What are you doing?" Law, he's like, "All right." He's like, "Zoro, here's the thing. We just needed to separate them, all right?" He said, "What's the point in you dying? What's the point of you separate them if you're dying? We need every man that we can get." And Kid, he's like, "Hey, we'll take it from here. Don't worry about it." He said, "That's all we need to do is separate them." And we know Law is a doctor, one of the best in this series. So now, obviously, he's exaggerating here, but he's saying he wouldn't have been surprised if Zoro's bones are shattered after taking that last attack. So we know Zoro's at his limit. And Kid and Killer, it is official that Kid and Killer are going to face Big Mom. I'm cool with that. I am fine with that. But Kid, he said something. He was looking up. He said, what are the clouds? Basically, he's saying, what's going on with the clouds? And it's kind of hard for me to see because obviously you're in the black and white version. When somebody manually colors, I'll be able to see it more. Or maybe the next chapter. It may have something to do with Zeus. I don't know. Maybe a nail for all my nail fans out there. But here's where the issue I have. Kaido, he said that, Luffy was unconscious, which is fine. He said, "I'm going to gouge his eyes out." And Zoro, he's like, "Law, this is going to be my last attack. I've been waiting for Asura this entire time. Zoro finally used it." But the problem, and I feel like people are going to downplay Zoro here, but you guys have to actually and truthfully realize Zoro's half dead here. If this was Zoro at the beginning of the fight, I feel like this Asura is doing, him at the beginning is doing a lot more damage than the Asura he's using now. And the Asura he used now, I don't know what the attack was called, but he was able to cut Kaido where Kaido said it'll leave a scar. So the attack was called Hell Hake, or Hakai. And I'm not going to say Kai, I think it was Hake, it was spelled Hakke, where obviously it's probably going to change in the official translations. But it left a scar. We saw Kaido cough up blood. We see Law surprised because obviously Law has been with the Straw Hat since Punk Hazard, and yet he had not seen Zoro use Asura yet. And like I said, the problem I have is Luffy did something even better in this chapter. But let's be realistic here. Zoro, I don't want to say tank. Zoro temporarily blocked the biggest attack that happened throughout this entire series, and people are going to say, and people are already getting either too much praise or downplaying for that feat. And yet in this situation, Zoro is half dead, where Law even said that he's surprised that Zoro was able to move. He thought his bones should be shattered. And Zoro was still able to cut Kaido where he said it would leave a scar. And so, like I said, a 100% healthy Asura Zoro, I'm not going to say he's knocking Kaido out, but he is inflicting way more damage than what he did here. And Kaido, he mentioned something about conquerors haki. He said, was that conquerors haki? And this... Oda knows what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. Because this is the second time within the past 15 chapters that Zoro and Conqueror's Haki have been brought up. Especially in the title, Conqueror's Haki, where Big Mom and Kaido have Conqueror's Haki. Kid and Luffy have Conqueror's Haki. And Kaido brought this up. And especially with what happens a little bit later in the chapter. But Zoro, he's like, man, he said, what the fluff are you talking about? He said, I just put everything I had in the attack. I just wish it knocked you down. And then that's when Kaido said it'll leave a scar. And guess who was the other person to leave a scar on Kaido? Kazuki Yoden. And this is where Law and Zoro, they tank. Well, I don't like using the word tank, because tanking is where you take it and you get back up like nothing. But they got hit with a Thunder Bagua. And so, yeah, we know what happened to Luffy the first time. But we then cut to Luffy. Luffy's back up on his feet. He's like, all right, man, why would these guys join you? We're not submitting to anyone. We're the samurai friends. We're going to help them. And my thing with this, we basically, I think we got introduced to advanced conquerors haki. Because this is where Luffy said, after taking your attack the first time, I figured it out. He said, you're coding yourself in conquerors haki. And Kaido, he says, only certain people can do this. But my thing is this. Well, one, does that mean that Zoro using Asura, was he coding himself? Because we know Asura is basically Zoro's will. So, I don't know. I want to see what other One Piece YouTubers and content creators talk about this. But I also feel like, I don't even, like, what was the, if this was Advanced Conquerors Haki, what the heck was the point of Luffy learning Ryo, Advanced Armor Haki, you know? I think a lot of us were expecting Luffy not to learn Advanced Conquerors until he met Shanks, because Shanks is known for his haki. And I think my biggest problem with this chapter is, I'm not saying a problem, but Luffy, he obviously probably dodged Kaido's attack with seeing Future Sight, and he also kicked away his mace, or I forget what it's called. Let's just call it some spiky thing. He kicked that away. He also hit Kaido twice without hitting him, without actually touching him. And so this is Advanced Conquerors, Advanced Ryo. I don't know what it's called at this point. We'll have to wait and see next chapter. But this was I don't know how I feel about this, because this is Luffy after taking a 3-world Ragnarok attack, was knocked out temporarily, and this is a hybrid form Kaido. So Luffy doing this, and this is Luffy doing this in base form. If Luffy wasn't, because if I give him this, if Luffy wasn't Snake Man, or I'm gonna say Snake Man, if Luffy wasn't Snake Man in this situation, I wouldn't have a problem with this. But it's the fact that Luffy is knocking Kaido around like this, just in base form, and I don't know how I feel about that. I think it shows and makes Luffy a little bit too overpowered. And then this is where Luffy, he says, Zoro, Law, thanks for covering me, but you guys can head back down. He said, I've got this. So basically it's going to be Kid and Killer versus Big Mom, and Luffy versus Kaido. How would I feel about this? Personally, I think, well, Law's a doctor. He's probably going to use his room and fix Zoro up real quick. Obviously, Zoro's not going to be able to be 100% healed right then and there, but I think he'll heal him enough where Zoro can still continue fighting. And I don't see Zoro and Law going back down, because a hybrid form Kaido, one-on-one versus at most Gear 4th Bound or Snake Man Luffy. Luffy should not win that fight. If he does, there's some plot armor that I will call BS. So I don't think Zoro and Law will go back down. One, because the samurai, more likely than not, all of them are going to fight the Big Mom Pirates, the Kaizen 9, the Big Mom Pirates, the Beast Pirates. I think Sanji takes on Queen. I think Marco takes on King. I think it's Dogstorm taking on Jack. So that's the top 3 commanders there. We have Robin taking on and Brooke taking on Black Maria, Jinbei, and Who's Who. Yamato, well, she's still a wild card. Who else? Frankie and Sakasi. I forget what his name is, but and then Nami and Usopp versus Page 1 and OT. We have Carrot and Wanda. They're more likely than not going to go back and still fight Sparrow. So I feel like there's no point in Zoro and Law going back down. I feel like there's nobody there for them to fight. I feel like they're going to just be sitting on the sidelines waiting for their moment on the rooftop. And at the same time, how I feel about Zoro and Asura, I kind of was hoping that Zoro, because we've only seen Zoro use Asura for a couple seconds, so hoping we got to see more. I don't think this is enough. I think we're still going to see Zoro use it again. For him to block the attack from them two, and for him just to scar Kaido, I feel like that's not enough for him. Zoro's going to have more moments, and I feel like Law has been a little bit as a disappointment as well. I feel like Law has only been assisting people. I feel like I kind of wanted Law to have his moment of shine, and yes, we still have a lot of Wano left, so maybe it would happen. I don't know. But guys, give me your thoughts about this. How do you guys feel about the chapter? What do you guys want and expect for us to get in 2 weeks? So we have a break next week. I think we'll more likely than not be done with the rooftop, and we'll go back down, and then after 2 more weeks, so basically in about 4 weeks or a month, I think we'll be back up top on the rooftop. But guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you guys never miss out on a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. It's on the screen and in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to unleash your potential.